Welcome back to Marsupilami. Now we're doing the boss of the carnival.
Which of course needs to be on the roller coaster.
Apparently the boss of this carnival hates marsupials.
And the game wants to emphasize the fact that he has a tie, you know.
And that's it.
How anticlimactic.
What an action-packed boss.
Platinum Games got nothing on this.
But it's okay too. Now we get to fight this black marsupial again. I don't know what his role in the cartoon is, but
it's just like Metal Sonic.
Fighting a giant transformer bot and whacking him with his own fist. It's got nothing on roller coaster mustache guy.
Take that, faker. And we get to see Marsupilami. Right. Well, Marsupilami's happy at least.
Yeah. Oh, goody.
Stage 1.
All right, everybody, and now we're in
South America, I guess.
There we go.
We're in the desert.
You know what this means, right? Dwibs? Horribly racist Mexican caricatures with sombreros and everything.
You know, this actually reminds me of a...
literally throw sombreros. This is Mario Odyssey.
It reminds me of an advert...
Teo, it's freedom like you never knew.
It reminds me of an advert I saw a few years ago, where where basically there was this mariachi band singing "Don't You Want Me, Baby" by the Human League.
Not just that, too. At least Odyssey had the good sense of making them cartoonish little things that weren't even human. So
except in New Donk City.
Well, the Dog City.
No, I was referring to the sombrero guys in the desert world.
In the Sand Kingdom, it works fine because they're not depicted as even cartoony humans. They're just cartoony whatever the hell those things are.
I gotta be honest, though,
they're kind of based on the Dias de la Muerta festivities.
I'm gonna be honest, though, I'm not really keen on the. I mean, other than the mayor, I'm not really keen on the character models in New Donk.
Well, remember, Dwibs, that's supposed to be the city where the original Donkey Kong took place, back when Mario...
Not just that, Dwibs, it's the Mario team actually trying to do photorealistic humans for the first time.
Not just that, remember, Dwibs, if you go back to the original Donkey Kong game, where Donkey Kong, Pauline, and Mario premiere, you'll notice that it's exactly like that. It's a cartoony ape with a realistic human, Pauline, and a cartoony human, Mario. So Donkey Kong was already like that. So what Koizumi and his team are doing is basically showing off how exactly does it fit into the Mario universe. Basically, each kingdom is its own unique thing, and the Metro Kingdom is the kingdom where everybody is a realistic human, and that's where Mario originally came from.
I get the intent, but I still don't think it doesn't look all that great, if I'm honest.
Again, that's what I told you, Dweebs. It's the Mario team, at least Koizumi team, trying to do photorealistic human probably for the first time ever. So give it a pass, at least, in a sense that it's their first attempt ever.
I mean, it's not just that.
I don't know.
It's not like they're important. It's not like you're supposed to. I mean, the only character in that kingdom that you're supposed to be invested in anyway is Pauline. And Pauline looks great, if you ask me. So whatever. Okay. Regardless of that, though, we need to.
Well, regardless of the elephant, you monster.
Jesus.
Okay, we found a new power-up. A power that allows us to move
Move rocks.
Okay, there we go. We got water with Bonelli, so now it's time to try.
I know he's only a small little creature, but his power-ups just sound lame. I mean, climb stairs, push rocks.
Dwebs, we've already established.
It's practical, Dwebs.
We've already established this. This is not an action game. This is a more puzzle-driven type of game. Environmental puzzles, where the player is supposed to figure out where the player is supposed to experiment. It's his name is Bonelli. Where was I? Oh yeah.
Jesus, this jump.
The player is supposed to figure out an experiment using the power-ups to try to get his Bonelli across. This is not a platformer even.
There we go.
Well, his name is Ellie to me because elephant.
Like I said in the previous part, I appreciate the fact that this game didn't just make a generic to the platformer and just tried something different.
Oh no, we're collecting clocks. It's Back to the Future NES all over again.
Well, Dweebs, it could also be Bugs Bunny Lost in Time, a game that also Infogrames published.
Well, is it one LJM? I still can't believe their last game was actually on the freaking Dreamcast.
Really? What was it?
It was some racing game. And apparently it was crap too.
Well, big surprise.
I know, but you'd think with like years and years of experience,
I
they'd
guess
have improved.
I guess their money actually eventually ran out because people stopped buying their shitty games.
Granted, it was just in name. It was in name only, but it still had their brand on it. It was a game called Spirit of Speed 1937.
Still Speed.
Where you play a game. It's basically a racing game with the night starred like the 1930s.
Well,
You can imagine how well that went.
well, aside from that, Devs, how are you enjoying Odyssey?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. But bearing in mind, I've never played a 3D Mario game.
Oh, really?
This one gives a lot more freedom in general in movement.
This is a collect-a-fun 3D platformer, and you have experience of that anyway. So
Yeah, 3D platformers are more my thing. So every time I see a 2D section in that game, I'm like, oh my god.
there's like, oh come on,
No, I'm not criticizing the quality. I'm just
No, not just that, Dweebs. I don't think they're that difficult in general.
No. It's not so much that. It's more so the fact that they're, it's trying to pay homage to the classic 8-bit Mario games.
Yeah, literally.
But like I said, my skills with 2D platformers are as good as my memory. I.e., not very.
Quiet, Webs. I'm busy killing Mexicans.
Yeah, how dare you stop our insensitive racism?
Racist pricks.
Hey, I didn't make the game. The French did.
You're playing the game though, so you're being microaggressive too.
You're part of a problem somehow.
You're creating it reminds me of that stupid bitch on YouTube who talks down upon people who watch pornography, saying that they're part of the problem, that they're exploiting millions of women. Fuck you, bitch. If you don't like pornography, fine, but really, watching pornography is exploiting women? Come on. You are aware that men are in porn too, right?
Yeah, I mean,
there's even gay porn with two men doing it anyway. So I fail to see your point.
I mean, that's not something I'd watch, but if I don't mind anyone else doing it.
All right.
So, Dweebs, I forgot at which specific point of Odyssey you are, but what's your favorite attire to choose from so far?
I'm fine with his regular one. Yeah,
I'm particularly really fond of the 64 outfit, and of course, I really like using the original Donkey Kong outfit whenever I'm in the Metro Kingdom.
the Pilot Swap overalls, okay.
Yeah, where they swap out the colors to his original Donkey Kong sprite.
Red and blue, yeah.
I'll actually, on the subject of the Donkey Kong thing you mentioned earlier, since I'm not really a hardcore Mario fan, I didn't really get that must explain why I didn't really get the whole Donkey Kong thing initially.
Oh well. Okay, let me give you a little brief history lesson, Devs. Miyamoto's first game for Nintendo was actually not Mario, it was Donkey Kong, which was that. I don't know if you. It's that game
He watched Pixels. He should know.
Okay, it's that game where Donkey Kong kidnaps Pauline and Mario has to save her.
And throws barrels. Yeah.
That was Miyamoto's first game, and that was the game that was incredibly popular back then, and it made Mario a star, and by extension, Donkey Kong. Eventually, we also had Donkey Kong 2 and Donkey Kong 3, However, eventually Miyamoto decided to just let go of the ape in general and just focus on Mario, and they got Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers, which was in fact the original arcade version of Mario Brothers recently got released via Arcade Archives for the Switch. I still kind of want Donkey Kong, but fine. I guess Mario Brothers is a good enough first step.
Pedro, you didn't tell me we were doing a history lesson today.
Shut up! You have to learn something.
Yeah, shut up!
I thought today was PE class.
Well, too bad. I don't like PE. PE is useless. That's why I said it.
But it helps you get fit and learn about different kinds of sports.
If I wanted to get fit, I'd just exercise on my own. The time I'm doing this could be spent actually have an actual class that would actually be useful for my future. But that's enough of criticizing. What was? Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, we had Mario Brothers, which introduced Luigi, and then after that, we finally got the iconic masterpiece Super Mario Brothers, and after that, we all know what happened.
Yeah, I think in between there was also. I think in between
Mario Bros. 2, the Lost Levels.
Yeah, and by the time, basically, before Super Mario Brothers, they had this thing where he was a plumber from Brooklyn, which is of course from New York, which is why New Donk City is based on New York, you know. So keeping up with that, so basically, New Donk City is the pre-Super Mario Brothers area because both Donkey Kong, so the original Donkey Kong trilogy by Miyamoto and the original Mario Brothers, those took place in New Donk City. However, eventually Mario and Luigi moved to the Mushroom Kingdom, and that's it. However, in fact, Whips, if you manage to complete the game, you'll get to visit the Mushroom Kingdom, and you'll even get to see where exactly the Mushroom Kingdom is located in the Mario world, in comparison to New Donk City. So yeah, you can actually see for yourself the geography of the world of Mario finally.
It's weird.
Well, it's Mario.
Well, Dweebs, not just that word, Dweebs. Before this title, the Mario continuity was all over the place. At least Zelda had a book that tied in everything, but Mario did not get the luxury. To be fair, it's not like it completely needed it, because Mario games are not fond of their story and everything. But the problem is that it suffered from the same problems of Sonic, in a sense, that its geography change it constantly every 5 seconds with each game. So understanding where everyone was at the same time was a bit difficult.
But ever since Koizumi,
Odyssey clear things out, at least for a bit.
Not even just Odyssey too. This has been a thing ever since Koizumi took over the series. It started in Galaxy 1, where we established the lore involving where the power stars come from with the Lumas. And of course, that was the first appearance of Captain Toad. Then, of course, Galaxy 2 was pretty much nothing in terms of advancing lore and story, but then again, it didn't really need to. 3D World, of course, established this Sprixie Kingdom, and then, of course, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which that's one of my favorite games from them, because it did a great job in expanding upon the role of the Toads. And now with Odyssey, Koizumi is now finally we're finally getting things straightened out. Turns out the Mario world is a world where every kingdom is like a completely different place with different.
Did we
Go ahead.
Is Potland in the game?
No.
Sorry, Dweebs.
Dweebs, no.
The map shows only for a slight bit Idle Delfino from Sunshine, but it's only there for an Easter egg purpose.
My guess is Idle Delfino is somewhere in the other side of the Earth that we don't see.
Yeah,
which is funny. It's funny you mentioned that, Pedro. Pedro knows a lot about who's behind what's a certain franchises at the moment, except Pokemon to an extent, whereas I'm exactly the opposite.
Well, the thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Mazzuda still the guy in charge?
Sort of. Although, like I said, when Gen 7 came around, he wasn't even the director that time.
No, true, but isn't he also the producer? Isn't he kind of? I don't know if he's the head of things, but isn't he like the producer, the guy in charge of the series, basically? Isn't he like the Izuka of the series?
Sort of. Again, he didn't direct Sun and Moon, and you can tell there's a much Sun and Moon, unlike Gen unlike most of the other gens Masuda did, Sun and Moon actually has a more focused story.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. There's lots of, just because a guy doesn't direct, that doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't have any creative say in how the games are being made. I mean,
I'm sure he did. It's just not. He just didn't. It's just some things felt different in Sun and Moon compared to say Gen 6, for example. That was the last one he did.
After Galaxy 1, Koizumi stopped directing the Mario games, but you can clearly still tell his influence in every game that came after.
There we go.
Where's that going? Oh, yeah.
Also, Dweebs. Oh, go ahead.
No. So basically, this is basically how it was in the beginning, Dwebs. Originally, it was just Mario and Luigi were just plumbers living in Brooklyn.
I think before that there was also Wrecking Crew, but I don't even know.
No, Wrecking Crew doesn't have anything to do with Mario.
And then I'm assuming that they decided to say fuck being American citizens. We're just going to move to a world inhabited by
mushrooms.
Giant turtles.
Yeah, no, it's classic Miyamoto in the sense Miyamoto is of course the guy who doesn't give a shit about story and lore. So obviously he just thought, whatever, I'll just make it like right now they live in this mushroom kingdom thing. And ever since then Miyamoto has always had this thing where everything is constantly changing, and it wasn't until Koizumi started to rein things in and make sure things were more consistent that it started to get.
That's one thing I've been wondering actually.
Go ahead.
What?
What would your favorite franchises be like if I were the one running them?
I guess Pokemon, since it seems like to be the one that you're most knowledgeable about.
No, I meant like say your favorite franchises. I mean, not mine.
The real question, Pedro, is how the said franchise will turn out if suddenly Dweebs was the director.
Well, I wouldn't trust you. I wouldn't trust you with a Layton game, but
nor Metal Gear.
I wouldn't trust. Well, how about this? You can be in charge of Uncharted, I guess, since that franchise is much more simplistic in terms of how it's made.
Yeah, I decree from now on that there will be no 15-minute long death scenes in Metal Gear Solid. That's my biggest contribution.
But Webbs,
15-minute long death scenes.
But Webbs, that means I cannot listen to more Enclosure.
Well, buy the CD or something.
Anyway,
so yeah.
What about you, Tio?
What?
I mean, what would your favorite franchise be like if I were the one running it?
Probably not be favorite anymore because I will switch to something else.
Give me an example.
Easy as pies, Dweebs. If a tide turns, a set sail somewhere else.
Anyway, allow me to explain something. Basically, the tank. I was supposed to hit the tank with my tail to make it a proper bridge. The problem is that the game
doesn't intuitive at all.
Yeah, the game doesn't really show in any way that object can be interacted with. I just thought it was just a regular object, a regular obstacle.
It doesn't really seem to be an indication in general for this game.
No, this game is usually good with making sure something sticks out to make sure you try to tinker with it. That particular tank, I don't know what happened. I mean, like I said, granted, this kind of game was very unconventional at the time, so I guess I can at least forget the fact that they were kind of treading uncharted waters. So.
Also, Marsupilami has a completely black son.
And before you ask, Twips, his wife looks exactly like him, just with female eyelashes, obviously. So
I'm just gonna say, if that weren't the case, I mean, what would happen if he got the wrong creature?
So I'm starting to think that Marsupilami's wife has been fooling around with his rival.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about that to him. Poor guy.
Marcy, your wife's a cheating bitch. There, I said it.
It doesn't remind me of. Oh, okay, this boss. This guy just keeps coming out of doors, so just hit him. Basically, here's an interesting thing. This is the only boss of this game that has two phases.
Okay.
So let's keep hitting him. And now.
Also, gotta love how you can't reach him on the upper balcony, and you're forced to do the upper throw move with the tail.
So yeah, and now suddenly something weird happens. The boss disappeared.
Okay. Hello, game.
Cause it's like that. It's like the.
He's in a giant Marsupilami tank.
What the?
You know what?
Of
course.
I'm guessing this is better explained if you've seen the cartoon.
Or read the comic, probably. Also, free hits. Seriously.
Well, to be fair, Teo, we already had the other free hits with the first phase.
I guess, yeah. But it's supposed to be an old school video. It's supposed to be extremely cheap.
Well, remember,
Chahutas?
Chahutas.
like I said, they were kind of treading uncharted waters with this particular design, so I'm guessing that they wanted to play it a bit safe with the difficulty, just to make sure they took as little risk as possible.
Right. So where are we now?
Now we're in the Chahutas.
South America. Yeah.
A place of ruins where it's always storming for some reason.
Also, these snakes seem to be very annoying. They seem to eat you even though you're completely avoiding them.
It can be pretty annoying, indeed. Let me just...
Waves.
Sorry, I was trying.
Also, more racism.
Yay!
Thanks. This time to Aztec Inca warrior people.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot, Dweebs, in which year Mel Gibson released Apocalypto?
2006, I think. Let me check.
Yeah, you know, Teo, that thing about Marsupilami having a black sun reminds me of a classic joke we have here.
Yeah, 2006.
Thanks.
We have a classic. This is a classic joke we usually have over here. Is basically it's like this. There's some people in a train chamber. And one of them is like everybody's quiet except for one guy who's constant. Every 30 seconds suddenly goes, fuck me. Fuck.
Oh.
Actually, never mind. I think a better translation would be, well, this is fucked. Yeah, this would be better. And he keeps swearing like this every 30 seconds. Well, this is fucked. And everybody's like, excuse me, you're bothering me. Could you please stop swearing in front of me? And and then he looks at her and he's like, well, this is fucked. It's not done. And then eventually everybody keeps telling him, excuse me, couldn't you, take into consideration the fact that there's other people in here beside you? And he keeps doing it. He says literally nothing but just that. Eventually they get tired of it and they call in the usher, telling him to force him to shut up. Okay, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave the train in the next stop. And then he keeps saying it, and then one of the passengers gets tired of it. Okay, could you at the very least explain to us why you keep saying this? You see, ma'am, I'm white, and my wife is white, and yet she had a black son. And then everybody, including the usher at the same time, goes, well, this is fucked.
Let me guess, did they get thrown out of the train?
No, that's the end of the joke.
That's the punchline, Dweebs.
That's the punchline.
Oh, right. Okay, so build up to a black person joke.
Well, the thing is, you have to understand, Dweebs, is that here in my country, we don't really have the problem of SJWs and racist sensitivities. Like even black. I mean, like if you tell a joke like this to a black person, they'll laugh as well. Because we over here, we don't really have that kind of sensitivity. Like we're fine. We don't really care.
Sure.
It's like a tagline. Portugal, we just don't care.
No, it's more so that we're not prude pricks, unlike America.
Yeah. Again, Pedro, it's like I told you. It's the ultimate proof of how to live happily. Just mind your own business.
Basically.
So how do you keep getting up? I don't think the stairs is on. Oh, there you go.
There you go. I was supposed to know that there was a thing here. Oh, there you go. To be fair, I should have explored the level better instead of...
Not just that, it's you need a blind to get up there. Okay.
There we go.
Also, this music, God.
Not to mention it at the very least allowed me to take out all the enemies. Alright, let's go. But this is a dead end, so I guess we'll...
Yeah. Again, this music sounds a lot like Crash Bandicoot,
Fuck.
but worse, obviously. Yeah, I guess that rope doesn't work both ways.
No, it does work both ways. It's just that I did it too late because I have to do it before Bonelli gets to me. But by the time I did it, he was already midway. Fuck. There we go.
There we go.
All right, now let's just go through here then. And
Get on the fucking spot, mate.
there we go. And just keep doing this.
Well, at least it doesn't seem to have more overcomplicated puzzle like the tank from before. Again, the level design seemed to be hit and miss in a sense, but some levels seem to be easier when you get difficulty spike and then reverse ups and downs.
Yeah, I like I said, I will give them at the very least some slack in the sense that this was an incredibly uncommon type of game to make back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember any other mascot platformer being a Team Eco style game like this.
No, not like this. I mean, if anything, this was pioneering the genre before Last Guardian in general. I don't remember any other particular game tied to this particular mechanic. Not that I remember entirely. Maybe Star Fox Adventures with the baby dino thing, but I don't remember.
True, but that
entirely.
game came out well after this game.
No, I'm trying to remember other games that did this kind of mechanic in general, because it don't seem to be a very common thing for video games in general, especially for mascot platformers. Jesus.
Come on, Bonelli. There we go. Alright, so now I guess I have to use the stair thing.
Well, it's either the stairs or the pickup. Come on.
The problem is that this platform is really tiny, so...
And you need to get him on a specific place, I guess.
So yeah, you're probably wondering, what the hell do I do then? Turns out there's a different way to solve this particular section.
Okay.
You'll see.
Well, first you need to pick him up again.
There we go.
There we go.
So now what? If I had the if I had the shield ability, I could just use it as a bridge, but unfortunately I don't. So I guess there must be some kind of solution. Let's see if we can where we can find. Oh, look at that!
All right, the stone statue. Yeah.
All right then. Let's push. You'd think with the weight it would actually slide downwards that slope, but like
Nope. Well, physics. What are those?
well, to be fair, I guess this is not a Sonic game, so I guess physics aren't essential.
Were not important. Yeah. Well, I guess I should be also thankful that there is not a nice level.
And even if there was, I mean, I don't think ice physics wouldn't even really affect something like a game like this anyway.
All right, maybe this time it works.
Yes.
Yay!
All right, now we can just keep going.
Lips, can't you just feel the groove with this theme? I guess he got bored so much he's burped.
All right.
Yeah, sometimes there's points where this game just kind of starts to blend in together. I mean, doing most of the same
It's
stuff.
also because of the background. I appreciate the fact that they wanted to do this thunderstorm thing, but look at that, it's just pitch black. But yeah, we get some rain particles, and again, there's the thunders here and there, but nothing else. At least in the previous levels, you had something like similar background. This is just relatively lazy.
Indeed.
Alright, the end of a fucking level, finally.
All right, now I'll just let Bonelli carry me.
So, what's next?
Well, next with in the next part we actually finally get very close to our home. So tune in.
All right.
Tune in for
Can't
that.
wait.
Finally.
See ya.
See you then.
See ya.